You are listening to the New American Media.
All right, we're back, and we're talking Cleveland Indians baseball. Man, this is the first time I've done this in a while. It feels like I almost forget. I almost forget what it means to talk Tribe. Thanks for listening. This is the Unhappy Hour. I'm Brian Engelman here on the NewAmericanMedia.com. Please follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. Search the New American Media on Facebook and like our page, por favor, because we like it when you do that. Subscribe to youtube.com/the New American Media. A whole bunch of videos and interviews and cool stuff on that channel. And check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. We're bringing in a whole bunch of correspondents that are going to be – the site is really going to undergo some transformations this year. You're going to see a lot of cool stuff there. We just had celebrated our 2-year anniversary, our 2-year birthday. And today I'm celebrating my birthday, so freaking fantastic. Whoa, almost let something slip there. Yeah, maybe I didn't. But anyway, we're going to talk some Cleveland Indians because they're playing pretty freaking fantastic right now, kicking off a series against Detroit in Detroit. We're going to bring in Ben Weinbroer, see what he has to say. He's a native Clevelander living in Chicago with his own radio show. He's been on our program before. You might remember him.
Hey, Brian, how are you, man?
Ben, I'm living the dream. How have you been? What's new?
Oh, everything's new, man. What can I say, man? Got a lot of balls in the air, so things are great, man.
Hey, that's fair enough. Would you care to? I kind of gave people a brief overview of who you are. Can you kind of just set up why you care about Cleveland sports, where you're at right now, what you're doing with Existential Radio, and how they can find you, and then we'll get into the tribe?
Oh, sure, man, sure. I'm obviously a native of Cleveland, and spent most of my life there, and then went to school, of course, in Ohio at Ohio University. I came out here to Chicago in about 2007. And obviously still stay pretty close with all Cleveland sports, but particularly the Tribe. I take special interest in the Tribe and Browns. Not as big of an NBA guy, but in terms of finding me, existential.com is really kind of our home site, the hub of what we do. It's EXIS10TIAL.com. You can find me on Twitter at the same handle, Existential. And, news, government, geopolitics, a lot of the same things you discuss in your podcast, and we try to just deliver some alternative angles on a lot of the news stories that you're hearing, whether it be, mainstream stuff, and also try to touch on some stories that you might not be hearing in some of the mainstream channels. So that's kind of what we do. It's not unlike what you do, and we do it every Friday night. Yeah,
what time is that?
We broadcast live Central Time, 8 p.m., so we'll be on a little bit later tonight.
Gotcha.
So we actually conveniently, I think, go on right around the time you get off.
No, that's perfect. I mean, I think at some point we're going to have rational people doing radio 24 hours a day, always in different places. So when breaking news is happening and you want to talk with somebody and you're tired of absorbing the mainstream propaganda from either the left or the right, the Fox or the MSNBC, you can find someone. We dig into weird stories, everybody. If you're not familiar with, I guess you're familiar with what I do if you're listening to our program now, whoever this is on YouTube or embedded on our page or sent out on Twitter. But Ben does a lot of similar stuff, digging a little deeper into stories that nobody else wants to touch. Do we believe every crazy conspiracy theory out there? No. But we dig around and, I've heard a couple of weird things. I wonder if there's any truth to that. Sometimes you start asking questions and it gets even weirder.
Yeah, there's always interesting takes on even the stories that you're being, that are front and center. I mean, obviously we covered at length, a lot of what happened with the Boston bombing. I know you've done a ton of work on the Big Nazi story, which obviously this week kind of came to a head. So plenty to talk about on all those fronts. And, a lot of those are angles that you're simply just not getting. And then the other piece is connecting the dots. You'll find as you look at mainstream reports and you kind of find some inconsistencies and piece the puzzle together, it kind of gives you a better picture overall. And there's not a whole lot of media outlets out there that do that are kind of an aggregate of news feeds and try to, piece those things together. So I think that's one of the things that guys like you and I do a pretty good job of is, putting it in context.
Well, hey, man, it's good to link up with other people that are just tired of being observers and want to step on the field. To make the sports analogy, it's fun to be a spectator, but sometimes, even if you're just playing softball, get on the field. Swing the bat, throw the ball, do something. At some point the propaganda's got to stop. But anyway, I want to talk Tribe, but I obviously
Sure.
I want people to know who you are. And being from Cleveland, what in the world, before we get to the Indians, what in the world did you make of this story coming out of Cleveland with these girls held hostage for a decade?
Wow. I was in Cleveland. I was just graduating college about the time the first girl, Michelle Knight, disappeared. Obviously, the Amanda Berry story at that time made headlines, and it was something that any Clevelander was well aware of because there was such a mass outpouring of community support at the time. It's obviously just an utterly disturbing situation, and the details as they emerge are about as horrific as we could have imagined with, the revelation of the multiple rapes and multiple pregnancies resulting from those rapes and, obviously the loss of those pregnancies. So there's a lot of just really bizarre angles to it. I've been a little, I don't want to say disappointed, but there's been some, discussion more recently about some of the ineptitude of the Cleveland police, and maybe they could have somehow ended this situation much earlier than they had. There'd been discussion about police had been called to the home a couple times in the past. That this guy, there was some suspicion on other fronts. The thing that really kind of grabbed me what I saw today was the fact that the Cleveland police, at least as it relates to Michelle Knight, had removed her from the missing persons database in 2002, which didn't seem to make a lot of sense. But from a guy coming from Cleveland who was in Cleveland at the time of disappearance, I really believe at that time the police did everything they really could, the community as well. It's such a disturbing situation. I mean, it's a real life Silence of the Lambs type situation, and you can't expect police officers to have ESP, so to speak. I really feel like they did what they could. But just absolutely horrific. I can only say I pray for those girls. I'm so happy that they've been delivered to their families. But I'll tell you, Brian, I can't imagine what the rest of their lives are going to be like. And then the real bizarre thing is you got a child, a 6-year-old child who's the result of one of these rapes. So I can't imagine the life ahead of that young person.
Oh, it's just brutal as a story, because I'm fairly new to having a personal page. I've always had business pages and band pages for, Facebook and all the way back to MySpace and stuff, but I never really had a personal Facebook account, so I just recently started one. And all my friends from back home in Brunswick, Ohio, they all start, oh my gosh, this story. It was like the day it was breaking before the national media figured out what was going on. I'm like, okay, what is this story? Everybody's going bonkers about it. I just want, really quick, I have an edited version of the Charles Ramsey 911 call. I'm not sure if anybody has had a chance to hear this yet, but out of all this misery, you had this, he's a hero. He's just a dude that was eating his McDonald's, and he showed up, he stood up, and he took charge, and he stopped some really bad stuff. He was Johnny on the spot. But out of all of the misery and horrible stuff that's going on, and they're going to have a long road to recovery, is whatever semblance of recovery there can be after something so crazy. I just want to play this Charles Ramsey 911 call for everybody. I believe this is a censored version, although it's funny or uncensored. I'm sure you've heard this, but this guy is kind of the superstar hero of this story, and he makes me smile. So I'm just going to play this real quick, and then we'll talk some Tribe. Okay, Ben?
Sure.
Cleveland 911 police, ambulance to fire.
Yeah, hey, bro, I'm at 2207 Seymour, West 25th. Hey, check this out. I just came from McDonald's, right? So I'm on my porch eating my little food, right? This broad is trying to break out the house next door to me. So there's a bunch of people on the street right now. So we like, well, what's wrong with you? What's the problem? She like, this motherfucker kidnapped me and my daughter, and we've been in this bitch. She say her name is Linda Berry or something. I don't know who the that is. I
those
moved
beeps
over
are
here,
loud.
Sir,
you know what I mean?
Sir, you have to calm down and slow down. Is she still in the street?
Seymour Avenue.
Is she still in the street, or where did she go?
Yeah, I'm looking at her. She right now. She calling y'all. She on another phone.
Is she black, white, or Hispanic?
She white, but the baby look Hispanic.
Okay, what is she wearing?
White tank top, light blue sweatpants. Like a wife beater.
Do you know the address next door that she said she was in?
Yeah, 2207. I'm looking at it.
Okay, I thought that was your address. So that house.
No, I'm smarter than that, bro. I'm telling you what a crime was.
Okay, look, sir, we can't talk at the same time. Do you want to leave your name and number or remain anonymous?
Charles Ramsey, R-A-M-S-E-Y.
What's the phone number?
And then it bleeps that out.
Are the people she said that did this, do you know if they're still in the house?
I don't have a clue, bro. I just said I came from McDonald's.
Can you ask her if she needs an ambulance?
You need an ambulance? Or what? She needs everything. She's in a panic, bro. I guess she's been kidnapped, so, put yourself in her shoes.
We'll send the police out. Thank you.
There you go.
Ben, and I almost went with the uncensored version, and I didn't like those beeps. They were kind of loud. But this dude is just hilarious. And you check out some of his other interviews, this Charles Ramsey. Guy is just funny. In the midst of all this chaos, he just made me laugh. I woke up in Los Angeles the next day after this story broke. In the first 30 minutes on KFI, AM 640, the biggest AM network out here, it was 30 minutes of this. And I woke up laughing because I hadn't heard this guy in his interviews and stuff. And his subsequent interviews are just as funny.
Yeah.
Have you been able to absorb all that? Any thoughts on Charles Ramsey?
Oh yeah. Obviously, I've seen the interviews. I've seen the all the memes and the mashups and all the internet sensation of it all. But one thing I want to point out, though, and obviously Chuck Ramsey, hats off to him. Although there is another unsung hero that's not getting nearly the press, which is a guy named Angel Cordero, who was on the scene, who actually was the one who kicked the door in and brought the girls out. Unfortunately, he doesn't speak English, so he didn't get all the notoriety that Chuck Ramsey's gotten. So I want to point out Angel Cordero as well and his involvement with the rescue.
Good job on that. I did catch an interview with him, and it was translated, and he doesn't speak English. Very, very good point. Good point on that. But, yeah, the whole Charles Ramsey stuff, and if you check out the songified version, 7 million views of Dead Giveaway. Oh, what a funny song.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It is
But
crazy.
Yeah,